This is Sudhakar Sharma, right? We will start the session. Today we are going to discuss about, it's a small workshop on Angular material and animations. So technically, let me share the screen, right? Yeah. So this is our Angular material session. And today we are going to discuss about Angular material. The prerequisite for this is you need to have knowledge of Angular. So I hope everyone here having the knowledge of Angular earlier, because here this is an add-on for Angular to make the presentations more interactive and effective by minimizing the number of lines of code that we need to write actually. So everyone with the knowledge of Angular, they can attend this session. You can easily understand. And if you have good knowledge of HTML, CSS, and a little bit Bootstrap, then this Angular material is almost similar to that. You need to just understand the tricks, how to handle it. Then you can make your Angular presentations more effective. Yeah, so technically today we will discuss about how do we work with Angular materials. What is Angular material and how do we deal with Angular material? So we are going to understand about making our Angular presentations more interactive. Technically, first, what is Angular material? What is the purpose of Angular material? So Angular material is actually a material design with a collection of components for Angular. That means, for example, many of you are already aware of that. So you are creating a presentation with the HTML and CSS. So you are creating a presentation with HTML, CSS. Can all of you tell what is the purpose of Bootstrap? Have you used Bootstrap in Angular material? Bootstrap? You have used Bootstrap? Yes, good, good. So you have used Bootstrap. Can you tell me what is the purpose of Bootstrap? Can you tell me what is the purpose of Bootstrap? What it provides, can you tell me technically what Bootstrap provides? Bootstrap provides. Yes, yes. Can I say that Bootstrap provides ready-made templates? Is it good to tell that it contains ready-made templates? Yes, yes. So Bootstrap provides ready-made templates so that we can make the presentation more interactive. Make the presentation more interactive. So similar to this Bootstrap, so Bootstrap contains a lot of jQuery library also. Am I right? Bootstrap contains a lot of jQuery library also. Yes, it comprises of a lot of jQuery library. Now, instead of importing the jQuery library and working with jQuery library, yes. Instead of importing and working with jQuery library, Angular provided a component library for you. So we generally call this as Angular material. So along with Bootstrap, so if you have learned about Bootstrap and you know about Bootstrap, have you heard about jQuery UI? Have you seen jQuery UI? jQuery UI library? jQuery UI library? Yes, good. Do you know jQuery UI library have similar type of functionalities related to Bootstrap? Now, yes, good. Now, important is we can build more interactive responsive presentations by using Angular material without much using of Bootstrap and jQueries. However, you can use a combination, but Angular provided a separate library for you, which allows you to build more interactive applications. So which are additionally added into your Angular project, and you can make more effective interactive presentations. That is the main purpose of actually Angular material technically. So technically Angular material, you can think like just it is a Bootstrap like concept so that it makes your presentation more responsive and interactive. So it provides a separate components library for you, ready-made components, so that you can inject them and use them in your application to make your presentations more effective and interactive. That is the key concept of actually material. Technically, what is the advantage of using Angular material? The main advantage of using Angular material, you can build an application with minimum code. That means zero to application UI components that can work across the web, mobile, and desktop applications. Right. That means it's a comprehensive collection of modern UI components. Modern UI components means, suppose I want a calendar. So you have a ready-made calendar component here. I want a slider. You have a ready-made slider. I want a card. I have a card. I have a tab control. You have a ready-made tab controls. I want a navigation bar. We have ready-made navigation bars. Navigation bars, right? So the point is here, it has ready-made components. That means without even having your own custom designed components much, you can build an application with predefined components that are provided by Angular material. And very important is they are designed in such a way that they can work across any device, that is from mobile browser to a mobile uh, device and even on a desktop. So from web, mobile, and desktop anywhere. One of the key feature is it can work on any device, and it is responsive. Second important feature about this is it is more faster. It is more faster because important is it is fully tested across all modern browsers. And especially, you should know that it is developed by the Google Angular team. Angular material is developed by Google Angular team. They have more concentration or making their Angular better and perfect, and they can address the several issues that Angular is having in presentation. So it is more faster when compared to your Bootstrap. So because this is native to Angular, Angular can easily understand. And even a small millisecond change fast it works, that is matter for us as a developer, you know that. And it can run across all the modern browsers. That means any browser can understand. So it will minimize the compatibility issues. That means the main concept here is to provide you a library, so that it can allow us to build complex applications, rich applications, without much designing by ourselves, everything by our own. And one of the key thing is this is supported by Angular team. So better we can go with this and we can run this and use it in our Angular applications. Now, how to use this Angular materials? How we can work with Angular material? Let's take a look about that step by step, how we can work with that. So we are not going into the theoretical part much because already you people are aware of Angular. Then it is easy for you to start implementing this because already you know how to design Angular applications. So let's see how we can start with Angular. So how we can start with Angular materials, how we can design and work with Angular materials. Let's take a look about that. For that, first you need Angular project, or already you have an Angular project. Into the Angular project, you need to add this Angular material. Already we have Angular project. Into this Angular project, you have to add Angular material. So let's take a look how we can manage that. So first, I am creating a simple Angular application. So first step, you create a new Angular application. So you just create a new Angular application. And you know how do we create an Angular application. So ng new and your app name. You can define any name, your app name. And I don't need to tell you about the environment to set up to create Angular. Am I right? Actually, I am showing you this complete example on Angular 9. I am showing you this complete example or Angular 9. So you know how do we set up environment for Angular 9. So I hope everyone is clear and you know already how do you set up environment for Angular 9. No need to tell everyone is aware now. I hope everyone knows how do we set. So how do we set environment for Angular 9? Because this Angular materials is for Angular people who are aware of Angular, right? So if you don't know even how to create an Angular project, then it will be very risky for you to handle this because this is not Angular class. This is Angular material. Okay, so generally what you need to install to get this, install Angular CLI, am I right? So you need to first install Node.js on your computer. I'm just giving an overview for you people. install Node.js on your computer from the Node.js official site and install Angular CLI. You know how to install npm So technically, how do we create an Angular application? Technically, how do we create an Angular application? We know about Angular application. So how to create an Angular application? So how we can configure and define an Angular application? So all of you are aware of that creating of Angular application. So first you need to install Angular CLI, and after installing Angular CLI and create a new Angular project. Create a new Angular project. So what I have done is in my computer. So in my computer, I have created in this Angular workshop folder, I'm creating a new project. So here I'm creating a new project. So ng new material workshop or some project name. So here we defined as material project. This is our Angular project. We are creating a new Angular project. We are just designing an Angular project, right? Okay. So technically, so here we designed an Angular application. We designed an Angular application. I hope everyone is aware, because remember, this is not for the people who are not aware of Angular. So everyone knows how to create Angular project, right? A simple one, how we can create an Angular project. So we are creating a new Angular project, and that Angular project is material project. And I given the name material project. How do we do that? ng new material project. That's how we create a new Angular project. Fine. After creating that Angular project, because you people, that Angular project, it takes a little while to create the complete application. So I am not wasting the time. So already I created a project by name material project, and you know that what it will ask while creating a project, it will ask for routing. Am I right? It will ask for routing module, right? So it will ask for routing module. It will ask for CSS. Am I right? Yes. So it will ask for routing module and CSS, and you know what to do. In the routing module, select the routing module, and in the CSS, you choose CSS, right? Which type of CSS you want to use, you choose CSS. Creating again, because already we created it, it will take a little while. You know all how to create an Angular project, so that's not a new thing for you. So Angular is ready. Angular project is ready. We created a new Angular project. So once Angular project is created, let's open this Angular project. I'm using the Visual Studio Code editor. In the Visual Studio Code editor, we can open the folder, and that is the material project that we created. And this is your complete project hierarchy, means infrastructure, and you know everything about this project infrastructure, what is present inside it, you know the complete project infrastructure. So how we can work with Angular material in this project, how we can work with Angular material in this project. First, I will create a simple component for our project, and we will start with that project, right? And we will add Bootstrap, we will add Angular material, and we will see how to create and configure and work with Angular materials. So let's take a look about that, how we can manage everything, right? Let's see. First step, after creating the project, so your project is ready. Now open your project in VS Code, Visual Studio Code. You open your project in Visual Studio Code. These all notes I will share with you, and the presentation I will share with you towards the end, so that you can follow these steps and handle it, right? So create a new Angular application and open in Visual Studio Code. Now, in this, what we will do here is we will start that application. So with a simple component first. So I will add a new component here. Let's add a new component here. So how do we add a new component? I'm generating a new component here. How to create a new component? Ng generate component. And the component name, I'm configuring the component name. Ng generate component, and the component name is home. And I will use here -- skip test equal to true. I don't want any test file to be generated. Then I will use skip test equal to true. I am creating a simple component by name home. I'm generating a component by name home. Okay. So this is the home component we are having. Technically, once the component is generated, let's keep this component in the startup. Keep that component in the startup. You know how we can keep the component in the startup? You know the approach. How do we keep the component in the startup, right? So how do we keep the component in the startup? So we need to go to app module, right? In the app module, in the app module.ts, let's define this component in the startup. In the app module.ts, I'm defining this component in the startup. So here we have to import the component in ng module. In the ng module declarations, I'm adding the component. Already the component is added because we added through scaffold techniques, right? So this component is already added, right? So once the component is added, keep this component in the startup. So that means configure this into the index page. Already you know, that means bootstrap. I will bootstrap with the home component. And you know the selector for home component will be app home. So you need to go to the index HTML page. In the index HTML page, so here I will keep app home. That is the selector for our home component. So app home, that is the selector for our home component. So we just added a sample component called home, and we made this component in the startup. So we configured and made this component available in the startup. Okay. Now, once this component is in the startup, configure that component in the startup, right? So once we configure and define the component in the startup, now let's start this component. So already, how do we start our application? So I am starting the application. So let's start the application. So ng serve -open, right? So we are opening our application. We are starting our application. So ng serve open. So once the application started, so you can see the browser. So the output, and you can see the home works. So currently the home component is in the startup. Remember, I created a simple application. I created a simple application, and in that application, a component called home, and I kept this component in the startup. I kept this component in the startup. So what you have to do is, so create a new component and ng generate component. The component name is home, skip test equal to true, and keep it in the startup. That means, so start with the home component, start with home component we have to start with, and we need to keep this in the bootstrap. So that means, let's go, and in the bootstrap we need to define that. Okay, so in the bootstrap we need to define, that means app.module.ts. All these you know, because you are all Angular people, you know how to keep it in the startup. How do we start with application, right? I don't need to much explain about all this. Then go to index.html, and in the body section you need to define app home, right? So that it will start with that app home. That is what I have done till now. Okay, now important is, once you have done this, so first I am showing you, so without materials and with materials, what difference can happen, how you can manage everything. So without materials and with materials, how you can manage everything. That is the first approach we are going to see here. So let's take a look here. So first point is, currently in this home component, so go to home component HTML page. So we have home component HTML. In home component HTML, I just added a heading. So home component. Okay. And here I defined a button. So this button is just like some submit button. And I want to configure this. I want to configure this in a div. I'm adding this in a div. Okay, in a div, we are defining this. Fine. Currently, it's normal. You can see once I save this in the output, it shows normal. I want to keep this more effective, interactive. I want to keep this more effective and interactive. Then you can use Bootstrap. You can use Bootstrap. By using Bootstrap, you can configure this, right? You can use Bootstrap for configuring this. So first step, so this is what we have done. So that means we created a home component, and in the home component, so we go to this, go to home component.html. In this HTML file, I added some design like this. I want to make it more interactive, effective, with less CSS manually written. Then all these days, so you may be working with Bootstrap. Generally, how we can set up Bootstrap CSS for Bootstrap CSS for Angular application. So I will show you how we can set up Bootstrap CSS for Angular application. How to set up Bootstrap CSS for Angular application. First step, what we need to do is install Bootstrap in your project. You have to install Bootstrap. npm install Bootstrap. This is the command you have to run in your project. So we have to install Bootstrap in our project. npm install Bootstrap. So that is what we need to configure. So let's go to the terminal. So in the terminal, we are installing Bootstrap, right? So we have to install Bootstrap, right? Bootstrap. So how we can install Bootstrap? npm install Bootstrap. npm install Bootstrap. This is the command we need to execute to install Bootstrap for our project. Okay. So it will download and install Bootstrap for our project. And where the library of Bootstrap will be stored? I hope everyone know about it. Where the library of Bootstrap will be stored, can you tell? Where the library of Bootstrap will be stored? Yes, good. So the Bootstrap library will be in node modules. Am I right? It will be in node modules. So Bootstrap library will be available in the node modules, right? That's it. Yeah. So here you can see Bootstrap. Yeah, Bootstrap successfully installed. Bootstrap successfully installed in my project. And the latest version I have, this is 4.5. Once Bootstrap is installed for your project, so next step, how do we enable this Bootstrap? There are several methods. So what we have to do is go to your styles.css file. You can find that styles.css in src. Am I right? In src, you will have styles.css. This is where you can add your global styles, so that all components can use those styles, right? For development, for production, different locations are there to configure. Initially, you can go to styles.css and enable here the Bootstrap. So how you can import the Bootstrap here? So we have to use command, so that is import. So we have to import from which location? So you need to come out of this src folder, because you can observe here the node modules folder is present above the src. That means outside the src. Currently style.css is inside src. So you come out of that folder, then we have to use // That means it comes out of the current folder. The current folder is src. In the end, goes to node modules. In node modules, you will have Bootstrap. In the Bootstrap, you will have dist. In the dist, you have distribution, CSS. In the CSS, we have bootstrap.css. So I will import the bootstrap.css. That is the core Bootstrap file. We are adding bootstrap.css. That core Bootstrap file is added here. So what we need to do is we need to configure this. Single dot means same folder. Yes. So what we have to do now, go to src in that style, right? We have that style.css. I will copy that line. So we have to go to styles.css. So we need to go to styles.css. Here we have to import this. So once Bootstrap is imported, you can see by default some effects are there. Yes, you can add in Angular JSON also. So I already told you there are various locations in Angular JSON. You can add into this styles, am I right? Because already in that Angular styles, this styles.css is configured. Then if you add one more, then what will happen is number of requests will increase. I hope you know this. Number of requests will increase, right? Due to that, it will perform slow. Am I right? So then better, bundling technique. Bundling. You heard about bundling? Am I right? Bundling. Bundling means already Bootstrap have bundle.css, bundle.js. The bundling is nothing but all the CSS files are kept references are kept in one file and you will make a request to that one file, response will come from all of them. Understood? Understood? That means it will reduce the number of requests. It will reduce the number of requests and improves the page load time. If you keep number of CSS in this styles reference, what will happen? For every style sheet, a request has to go. Due to that, the page load time will increase. We can avoid that. We can avoid that by using this technique. Am I right? That means now actually style.css is requesting by our application. If in style.css, I keep all my CSS files, import, this is bundling. You are bundling it. So once you are bundling, that means with one request, you are accessing all of them. I hope everyone clear, right? So it is that it is accessing everyone, right? Everything, right? So now the point is, I imported this bootstrap.css. And once I imported the bootstrap.css, you can observe in the design, you can see some changes happened in our application. Some changes means by default, Bootstrap will apply some font style. By default, Bootstrap will change the margins and button style also little bit changed. Default applied. How you can apply the Bootstrap classes? You can now apply the Bootstrap classes for your component. Let's go to home component. Let's apply Bootstrap here. So div class, I will use it as a container fluid, right? That is a Bootstrap class. You all people know about it. And heading, I will put a class. Heading class, I will give as some text primary. And I will give text center. These are all Bootstrap classes. And for button, I will give a class as btn, and btn outline, suppose some success like this. And I save this, and you can see that now your application is ready to use Bootstrap. Am I right? Your application is ready to use Bootstrap. Now you can make your entire presentation good with your Bootstrap. This is how you are using Bootstrap in your projects now. Am I right? This is how you are using Bootstrap in your project, right? You know how do we apply Bootstrap, configure the Bootstrap, and use Bootstrap in our application. Yes. So this is the change we have done in our home component. This is the change we have done in our home component. That means go to home component, home.component.html, and add bootstrap classes to HTML elements. This is what I have done. So I applied some bootstrap classes. Yes, you can use CDN link, but important is when you are using CDN link, one of the main point is if the server is not responding, then I hope you know that, right? CDN is always risk. That is not easy. Am I right? CDN always have to face the risk with the server response, right? Yeah. If you know about that, then you know why to use local CSS files, why to use CDN, right? So CDN is good for making your global repository across various projects you want to access, right? Currently, while working with local is better because we don't need to wait for that server to respond to send a CSS. Am I right? Huh? Right? Yeah. So that is important. So we don't prefer CDS as initial developing process because even we use CDN when our repository is global in our companies. Okay, right. So as of now, this is the approach how we can manage. So everything is ready. So Bootstrap is ready. This is how we are using Bootstrap. But now we want more effective, more interactive. For example, I want a date time picker calendar. Does Bootstrap have a date time picker? Does Bootstrap have a date time picker? Bootstrap have a date time picker, right? You can believe on different clouds, but always clouds have a problem, na? If you want to use CDN. So there will be issues. It depends on your requirement. You can use anything. Right now, don't worry about CDN or local because you can use anything according to your requirement. Yeah, Bootstrap alone don't have any date time picker. Am I right? So you need a jQuery UI date time picker, na? jQuery UI date time pickers are required. So many components are there. So now the advantage for Angular developers is Angular developers now can implement a similar type of component design like Bootstrap and developed by the Google Angular team for Angular. And that is what we call as Angular material. Understood? Angular material. Now we can make more better in performance and functionality with Angular native effects, Angular native responsive designs, Angular native components that makes it more better. Understood? How to install this Angular material for our project and how to use Angular material also along with Bootstrap. Remember, you can use both. Along with the Bootstrap, we can design it and you can configure it and you can use it. So let's see how we can define Angular material for our application, how we can configure and use Angular material for our application. Let's see the approach, how we can design Angular material. So technically, to work with Angular material into our project, we need to first install Angular material. And to install Angular material, you have to run the command ng add Angular material. Remember, working with Angular material in early versions of Angular, like below 7.6, it is a different approach. But from Angular 8 and 9, so simple, you need to just add this Angular material here. Right, you can use any command. See, you are a developer, you don't need to stress on, can I use yarn, can I use NuGet, can you use Bower? That's a silly thing. Why? Because you are an Angular developer, then it is a very casual thing that you can use yarn, you can use Bower, you can use anything. Am I right? Is it a question to ask as an Angular developer, an Angular person? Is it a question to ask, can I use yarn, can I use CDNs and all this? That's like silly thing, right? You know already that you can use anything, right? You can use anything, right? If you are aware of that. So this is the Angular material. You can simply add the Angular material, right? So the point is how to add Angular material to our project and how do we keep it ready? What will happen when you install this Angular add? So let's add Angular material to our application. Let's go to our project. In the project, we need to install Angular material for our project. So the command you have to run ng add @Angular/material. So we are using ng add Angular/material. This is the Angular material library. Just like how you have installed your Bootstrap, this Angular material gets a lot of library for you for designing different types of components, making the presentations more interactive and responsive, right? So we are adding this Angular material. When you are adding Angular material, now some important points you need to see. First, when you add Angular material, it is going to add 3 important components into your project. One is Angular material and Angular component development kit, CDK, generally we call as, and Angular animations. So Angular material contains components. So components like text box, like checkbox, like radios, like drop downs. Angular material is having these important components, right? It is having a lot of options. Component development kit, it will help you to get the dependencies for your Angular material components and import the modules, inject the modules, get the library and use the library for your material designs. Whatever library you needed for material design, that is handled by using this development kit. Angular animations contains CSS and HTML related effects. So that means transitions, sliding effects, fading effects. So such animation effects are provided by these Angular animations. You can create your own Angular animations also. So here we can create our own components also that we learned already. In Angular, you know how to design your own components and make them reusable across the application, right? So when you install Angular material into your project, it is going to add these three things into your project. One is Angular material, Angular CDK, and Angular animations. So, and it is going to ask you some important questions, like it will ask you, so do you want to choose a pre-built theme? Do you want to choose any pre-built theme? Just like Bootstrap theme, we have ready-made themes here. Just like Bootstrap theme, we have ready-made themes here. It will ask you to select any theme that you want, like colors, effects, themes will be available. Several themes are built provided, so you can use your own CSS theme also. And it will ask, do you want to use browser animations also? So for Angular material, it is important to have browser animations with Angular material, mandatory. So you need to say yes. And it is asking that, do you want to set up global Angular material styles, right? Typography styles, right? So you have to say yes. These are the three questions it will ask while adding material. So I will go here and hit enter. So we are trying to add Angular material here. We are trying to add Angular material into our application. It is adding the Angular material into, right? That is, yeah, typography already, it is always it is fonts, am I right? Typography means fonts, right? Always it is related to the fonts. No? Yeah, the first question it is asking, choose a pre-built theme. So that means a ready-made theme is available. Yes, yes, text fonts. It is asking you, so select a theme. We need to choose a theme here. We need to select a theme here, configuring and selecting a theme here. So there are several ready-made themes available. By default, I chosen the theme as Indigo Pink. You can select, you can change the themes later if you want, right? So initially I will select Indigo Pink theme. Okay. It is asking, do you want to set typography styles, right? Typography styles are for fonts and all. Yes, you have to choose yes here. Okay. It is asking, do you want to add browser animations module for Angular material? Yes. We need to add browser animations module also for Angular material. We need to configure all these three. Yeah, now Angular material is successfully added into our project. Now Angular material is readily added into your project. So now you can use the Angular material in the application. It is successfully added. Yes, custom theme means you can create your own themes. You can create your own themes, you can configure your own themes, and you can define your own themes also. So you can define your own themes for your application. So every theme contains the colors, effects, margins, borders, and padding, and how the spacing should be. You have to design your own theme, and you can apply your own themes also. Not an issue, right? Yeah. So now Angular material is added. It is ready. It is configured successfully. Now the next important point is once it is added, how do we start using it? Angular material is added. So that means what we have to do. So just you have to install or simply say add Angular material to your project, Angular material to your project, right? We need to add Angular material to your project. So how we can add Angular material to your project? We have to just use ng add. So at the net, so you have to define Angular / material. Once Angular material is added, so what you need to define is you need to configure a material theme for your project. You have to configure a material theme for your project. Let's configure a material theme for our project. Configure and define a material theme for the project. Generally, how we can configure the material theme? What you have to do is, after adding this, go to style.css. You can see that when you have installed Angular materials, it will add so many things. What are the points it will add is, it will all these modules, not only modules, it is going to make some changes here. So it will add all the project dependencies into package.json, and it will add a special font called Roboto, so into your index page. And it will add material design icon font also into index.html page. And it will add some global CSS into style.css. These are all the changes it is going to make in your project. So in package.json, it will add the dependencies. In index.html, it will add a font called Roboto, and it will add another icons for material design, icon font also. Generally, icon font means you people use Font Awesome and xylophonic fonts, am I right? So here you can have ready-made fonts available, ready-made icons available from materials itself. And some global CSS are added, so which comprises of margin, so height, and all these options are configured. Sorry, just for some network issues, technically stopper, right? Let's continue. So is it audible to everyone? Clear? Is it audible to everyone? Clear? Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Right, right. So let's continue. Let's continue. So we discussed about how do we install, how do we install and add Angular material for our project. So how we can install and add Angular material for project? We need to just use ng add Angular material. Once you've done this, the next step, it will ask for few questions. What are the questions it is going to ask? About the theme, select any built-in theme. You can select any built-in theme or custom. And another point is it will ask for the browser animations module. So you need to say yes. Browser animation module is yes. So, and it will ask you for various typography, right? So you have to select that also. That means typography styles, typography fonts, right? Actually, so you say yes, right? So once you configure this, once you have selected this, that means now your Angular material is ready to use. It is installed. So after installed successfully. So go to styles.css in src and import any theme for you have to import any theme for Angular material. You have to import any theme for Angular material. You need to import any theme for Angular material. So what we will do now is we will go to this styles. Now you can observe that. So it has made some changes. You can see those changes here. So it's added a simple body height to 100% and font family as Roboto. So it is you adding something by default. Some fonts, some effects are added here. Here we need to import. So another library, that is import. You will find the material related library, and you can import the material related library. So you have to import the material library from, it is in a different location. So you have to access it from @Angular. So you have to access from @Angular. So in that Angular slash, so in that slash you have material. So you have a material. In that material, pre-built themes will be available. That means we need to define here import. So in the import, we need to add a pre-built theme, that is so Angular. In that Angular, you have to define material. In the material, we need to use pre-built themes. In the pre-built themes, we have to use any specific theme. This is already available. So in your application library, you can handle that. That means actually you go into your project, in the project. So we have node modules. In that you can see, so it is having Angular. So in the Angular, you can see it is present in that location. That means technically how you configure that. Yes. So technically how you configure that. So technically how you configure this, you can define. So @Angular is enough actually directly to import the materials, right? You can directly import the materials. Actually, it is in node modules. In node modules, we have Angular, but it is not defined in this way, because if it is configured in the project, you can directly access it with @Angular, right? @Angular. And this is an Angular library. You can directly access it. @Angular / you have to define in material. So in Angular, you can observe. So there is a material. So Angular material. Left side, you can see in the material. So ready-made, so many options are available. And you can observe here, you will find a pre-built themes folder. You have to use that pre-built themes folder. Pre-built -themes. In the pre-built themes, you can see in the pre-built themes, there are several themes available here. You can use any specific theme that you want. You can use any specific theme you want. You can configure any theme you want. There are 4 themes added. You can use any. Every theme is same, but have different types of effects and colors changing. Color theme only will change. So I will select any theme, like I will choose here, deep, so purple, deep purple, and amber, -amber .css. This is the theme we are adding. We are configuring this theme here. So this is the theme we are defining here, the theme we are configuring here. So we need to handle a predefined theme. We need to configure a predefined theme. We need to import that theme here. So we can configure the custom themes, right? And you can define another theme. So the amber spelling is wrong. Okay, fine, good. So this is the pre-built theme I imported. This is related to material. For material, you need a theme, and we are configuring that theme here. So let's compile and run this. And usually when you compile and run this, so in the components here, because Bootstrap is also there, Bootstrap is there, and your additional another component, this is deep purple, also added. But this theme usually contains lot of effects defined for matte components. That means material components. This is a special theme for material components. How to apply them, how to use them, we will see one by one. How do we work with them? We will see one by one. So because this is a workshop and this is not materials class, so because there is a lot of things to learn, there are a lot of things to learn about materials and understand about materials, because just like Bootstrap only, so many are there. I will give you few overviews of different components. Based on that, you can try others also. You can try others. I will explain few here because it requires a lot of time to spend to understand all the material concept, and not required also. If I give idea of 2, 3, you can design all others by yourself. So I will post some examples. You can see and practice those examples by yourself. But how to approach that, for some few examples I will explain here. We will see here, right? Let's see how we can use this material now. That means this is ready now. So this is ready. This is ready. So that means you have to go to styles.css and you have to import this. So you have to import this. From the pre-built themes, you need to import this. Now everything is ready. That means your material component library is ready to use. You can start working with it. Now let's see how you can manage that. Let's see how we can manage, how you can handle this. Step by step we will see. So few components we will discuss, how to work with the components, right? Let's see some important components, how to design and how to work with this material. So first what I'm doing here is, so in the components, that means material components, examples, component examples. I will give you some material component examples. I will give you few examples. Others you can try by yourself. I will give you from where you can get that information and you can implement and you can use them according to your requirements. So initially, how we can use these material components. Let's see one simple examples, how to deal with these materials. So many are there because this is a big library. So, and in this library, it has provided so many components for you. So it has provided so many components for you. Actually, Angular material comprises of several categories. It provides form controls, it provides navigation related controls, it provides layout related controls, it provides buttons and indicators, buttons and indicators, and it will provide even pop-ups and models, pop-ups and models. Models are like dialogues, right? And it even provides data tables, right? So many types of components are present. That means categories are present. In every category, so many controls are present. Like you have autocomplete. You have in the form controls like checkbox. You have like date picker. We have a form field like this. So many components are there. We have like input. So we have like radio button. We have like select. We have sliders. We have a slide toggle. So many. All these different types of components are present and available here, right? So these are all the various types of options available, and in every category there are so many. In the navigation you will find menu. In the navigation you will find the side navigation, side nav bar. You will find even the toolbars also, toolbar just like your Bootstrap. In the layouts you will find like card, you will find like divider, you will find like expansion panel. All these are present. You even have like a grid list, right? You have like tabs, so many. So buttons, indicators, every category has so many things. So it is a very huge library for developers to implement and handle all these types of components. I'm going to show you few components, and other components you can try by yourself, right? Once you know the approach, then rest of the things you need to explore by yourself. Let's see how we can do that, how we can work with that. I will show you some few important examples. Like, let's see one material autocomplete, material autocomplete. How to use a material autocomplete and how do we work with material autocomplete. So in order to use the materials libraries, there are so many steps here. That means using material components requires the following steps actually. So if you want to use the material components, it requires some important steps. First important is you have to import the component related library into app.module. That is the first step you have to do. App module. Into the app module.ts file, you have to first import the component related library. So example, I'm showing you first steps here. For example, I want to use a input control. Input control means input type text, input type checkbox, input type radios, like that. I want to use input control. Then what we have to do is we have to import from what we need to import, which module you want. So suppose I want mat input module. I want mat input module from which library. Actually, Angular material library will be @Angular /material slash and the control related class. That is input. That is how we have to configure it. That is how we need to configure it. The first step is you have to import the component related library into app module. You have to import that related library into the module. After that, second step is you have to register the module. And you know where to register the modules. All modules are registered at which location? All modules are registered at which location? You know where to register the module, na? Yeah, all the modules are registered in ng module imports. Am I right? ng module imports. All the modules are defined in ng module imports. That means in the ng module, so what we have to do, we have a imports. Am I right? Imports, you have to import that module. What is the module? Mat input module. That is how we have to import the module. Every module that you want to use, you have to work with that, right? You have to import that. Every module that you want to use, you have to import that module. Okay. After importing the module, so now what you can do is, so the first step, you have to import the library. After that, you have to import the module. Then here, another important point is you need to understand that in order to use every mat component, contains a selector. Every mat component contains a selector and attributes. It contains selector and attributes. So what you have to know is, as a developer, when you are implementing any component, you need to know about the selector name and you need to know about the attributes for that component. So every mat component contains a selector name and attributes. You have to use them. You need to know about them. Then only you can use them. Generally, so how the selector will be selector, that means how the selector will be. Selector will be like this. Usually selector will be like mat hyphen, and it will be like input like this. That will be the selector. And usually attribute will be like mat input, that is an attribute. So what is this attribute? This allows Angular to bind its value to that model. Actually, this is the model reference. So model, this is like model, understood? It is like model. So that means it contains the information, it contains the configuration about this input related options. So for every component, so generally in order to utilize it and use it perfectly, you need to have the collection of all these things. So you have to first import, and then you have to register, and then you have to know the selectors. So when you know the selectors, now what you have to do is go to HTML and inject. How you can inject into HTML? So you have to use input, then you can use mat input. This is how we have to access the selector. You know how to access the selectors. We need to configure in this way. And the attributes are defined like mat input. That is the attributes, how we configure them. Attribute values, how we can use them. We will see some examples, we will understand about that. So I hope everyone understood the approaches, what to do, approach. Up to this, everyone is clear? Up to this, everyone is clear? Up to this, everyone is clear? So that means you are clear in understanding the process, what you need actually to configure and set up the environment, right? Yes, good. Now let's start designing some components and work with the components. Let's see designing and working with the components. Let's check that. Few simple examples I will show you. So material, autocomplete, how we can configure autocomplete for material, configuration of material autocomplete. So many controls or components are there. One simple example here. So actually autocomplete allows to choose any option. So by providing suggestion suggestions while typing, while keying in. You can say keying in characters into input element. Autocomplete allows you to choose any option by providing suggestions while keying in characters into input element. That means when you are typing something, while typing, if anything is related to your characters that you are typing, it will pop up and it will show you those details so that you can choose them instead of continue typing. That is what actually the concept of autocomplete is. Generally how autocomplete uses and how autocomplete actually works, right? So important is, we will see one simple example how to use this autocomplete. And for that we need a module. The module name for the autocomplete. So for autocomplete we need some important modules. What are the modules you need? Actually we need a module called mat form field module. You need one mat form field module, and you need another module called mat input module. This is for text boxes and all. Mat input module. You need another module, mat autocomplete. These are the modules that you need. Mat autocomplete module. These are the modules you need. In order to design this material autocomplete, you need these modules. And very important, these modules are present in different locations. So we need to import them. Another important is, you know that Angular have a forms module. So you have to import this forms module also, because in order to deal with the forms, you need a forms module. Na? You know that forms module is present in Angular forms. Am I right? Right? So it is required. So forms module is required. Yes. The forms module also required. So let's see how you can manage this now. These are the modules you need. And what are the selectors usually we need? So selectors we need. What are the basic selectors we need? Yes, reactive forms and template forms. So what are the selectors required for this? Basic selectors, what we need for them? Generally the selectors for form modules. Generally selector one is, we have a mat form field. That is one mat form field. Usually mat form field is used for keeping all your controls at one place. Just like you see, you have a Bootstrap form group class. Am I right? You have a form group now. You know Bootstrap have a form group class, right? So mat form field is like a form group. In order to group all your controls, you have a form group class. Understood? Right. So this is form field is for like a form group. So this is like form group. So group, it is like form group, right? You know how to deal with the form groups. It is just like a form group. Yeah. Another important, you need autocomplete. Mat autocomplete. So mat autocomplete, we have another mat autocomplete. So you need mat autocomplete. So, and one more option, mat autocomplete usually contains options. We have to define them as mat option. Means mat autocomplete contains collection of options. That means choose any option, right? And options are designed by using mat option. So it is options for autocomplete. For autocomplete we have options, that is mat options. These are the options for autocomplete. So now let's see how we can design and how we can work with them. How to design and how we can work with them. One simple example I will show you. These are the three important things you need. Right, I will give you the list of all these selectors. That means official a material library is present. So from the material library, you can get that. So official material library is present. From that, you can get it. So that means all these selectors information you can get from material.angular.io. That is the library. You can get everything from there. Understood? You can get all the information from this location, right? Related to different selectors, what are available and how to use them. You can get everything from this location. Okay, right. Now, first step is how we can simply implement a autocomplete and how we can design an autocomplete. Let's see how we can configure and design a simple autocomplete, right? So for that, first, I will create a design. I will configure a design and I will define some design for our application. So later we can implement that, right? So let's see how we can handle this design, right? So no need to open the website, right? If I open the website and explain, then it is like reading a website. I hope you are clear with this approach, right? Do you want me to open and read that website? Right, later I will show you how to explore the components by yourself. Okay, towards the end I will show you, then you can try by your own. Okay na, right? Right, if I open the website and start reading the website, then no need to conduct a session, you can do by yourself also. Okay, right, right, right. So I hope so if you are genius in copy and pasting, right? If you are genius in copy and pasting, I hope you also know that. So even copy and pasting requires a lot of customizations to happen according to our requirements. And you cannot simply copy and paste everything. Am I right? Right? Lot of customizations. That means if you are genius in copy and pasting, then you cannot handle the issues that are related to that. That means again you have to go Google. You know our developers talent, na? They copy and paste, errors will come, and again they Google how to solve this error, how to solve that error. Am I right? The people who are genius in copy and pasting, they always face this problem. That's the reason better follow this approach. That will be good because you need to understand where to write, how to handle. Am I right? Where the dependencies are kept, how to write them. So later I will show you from where you will get all the repositories, then you can easily handle it. No? Right, fine. So let's see that now. So let's see this. Now important is once you know this are done, right? So let's see how we can manage this. So how we can manage this. So first step, I will go and add a new component for us. I will add a new component. I can do in the same component, home component itself, we will do, right? Let's see. I will remove this. Okay. Let's keep a heading. So an autocomplete, right? Let's see how an autocomplete is designed. So that is the basic output for us. And let's see how autocomplete is designed. How to design autocomplete. Okay. First step here is what we need to do is, in order to use the components that you want, first you need to, according to that first step, let's go to the first step. Import the component related library into app module. Am I right? You have to import the component related library into app module. So what we will do now, so example, so first step, I will show you here. Let's go to appmodule.ts. In appmodule.ts, we will import. First, we will import. So from @angular/forms, from Angular forms, we will import a forms module that is basically required for designing the forms, right? We need a forms module for reactive and template driven forms. We need that form module. Okay, next I will import. So from, so @Angular Angular slash material. In Angular material, we have input. I'm using input. From the input, I will take here all material related modules will be mat input module. We have to import that mat input module. This is for input controls like text box and all. Text box, check boxes, for everything we need input like options, right? Another import currently we are going to use. So one more is a form field also we are going to use. So form, we have to import Angular slash, so materials. So material, in that we have form field, we have to import that form field also. Form field, that means I will put mat form field module. We have to import that mat form field module, right? Okay. Now, according to our current design, we need to import autocomplete. That means we need to import from again. So Angular slash material slash autocomplete. We have an autocomplete. We are importing autocomplete. Now in this autocomplete, so we are importing mat autocomplete module. We are importing that. So whatever needed for that current example, autocomplete example, I have imported that. So next we need to register these modules. You know, we have to register the modules in imports. In imports, we have to register the modules. What are the modules? Forms module. I need to import the forms module. Okay. And I need to import another one. So we need a mat form field module. Okay, and I need to import mat input module, and one more mat autocomplete module. These are to be added. So I hope you are up to now clear. We have to import the modules and we need to register the modules. Am I right? You have to import and register the modules. Okay. Everyone is clear. Okay, fine. Now let's go to home.html. Now I want to use an autocomplete here. I will design a form. This is our general HTML form. We will design a form. Now in this form, we are just adding. So we are just adding a field. How to add a field? Mat form field. That is the selector for adding the fields. Okay, in this field, I want a text box. Then input type is equal to text. Okay. Now this text box should have the behavior of mat input. Then I will give here attribute mat input. It will get the behavior of mat input. So if I don't give this, generally you can see that the design will be like this. It is an ordinary text box. I will give here attribute mat input. I'm giving the attribute mat input. When I'm using mat input, you can see its appearance changed now. I hope everyone is clear. Understood? Right? When I give mat input attributes, its appearance changed. Clear now? So its appearance changed. Yes, you can see that the appearance changed. Right. Now what we need here is we are adding some options into this. So we are adding some option into this. So let's go to the design and I will keep here a placeholder, and I will design placeholder. So select your country. So that is the design I am giving, and placeholder I am defining, and you can see it says select your country. And observe carefully, when I click inside it, then it will go with an animation. Have you observed that? Right? That is by default designed. Understood? Have you seen that? When I click inside that text box, it's having some effect and animation. right? Yeah, so that means it is having some effect and animation. If I have to design like that, it will take very much time with CSS and styles. Am I right? Right, if I want to design a text box like this, even if you know Bootstrap, you need to apply several manual CSS na, right? You have to write manual CSS and effects for that. Yes, now it is simple, it looks simple. Okay, now what we will do here is we will design a simple autocomplete example here. That means when user started typing some India, I need to give some suggestions. When user started typing, I need to give some suggestions. While typing, I need to give some suggestions. Then let's see how we can design that, how we can configure and how we can design that. So let's see one simple point. So what I will do now is let's go to our code, and here I will go to where to keep images, you know, assets folder na? I will go to the assets folder. In the assets folder, I have some images. I will copy those images. I will copy those images. I have some images. I will copy these images and keep into our assets folder. Am I right? Into the assets folder, I have India, PNG, UK, PNG. Into that, I am adding that. Okay, some pictures are maintained into our folder. Fine. So that is added into that location. Okay, let's go now. Now I need to go and design in the home component.ts. In the home component.ts, I am creating a collection, right? I am creating a collection. So I am creating a collection here. So in the home component, let's design a collection. I will create a collection, you know, suppose countries. Countries is a collection. It is a collection of some details, objects. You know how to create a JSON type data, right? So name I defined as India. Okay, that is India. And here I will give as a flag. Flag is nothing but its image. It is present in assets. In assets, we have India.png. Okay, and calling code for India is +91. That is the calling code for India. That is how I defined the data. Now here I create one more, that is United Kingdom. Okay, and here I am defining a flag, and I will put here assets, then UK.png, and calling code. So I will define the calling code as +44. So like this, I created some data. This data contains name and photo and a calling code. This is a simple array. Now what we will do is, let's go into this. Below this input field, we will use an mat autocomplete. This mat autocomplete will have an ID, because this autocomplete should be used by this text box. Then we will give it as an reference ID, you know, hash countries list. You know, this is the template driven approach na? All of you know na? Template driven approach, right? So template driven approach, how we can name the elements, you know that na? Template driven approach, right? Yeah, so this is template driven approach, right? And in this is of what type of reference it is. Actually, generally we use ng model for handling its data na? We use ng model for handling its data, right? ng model for handling its data, am I right na? Yes, we use ng model for handling its data. Now I will use this as this should be, its data should be handled by mat autocomplete. Mat autocomplete is a specialized model designed for handling the data for autocomplete. Understood? MAT autocomplete is a specialized model designed for handling the data. So of autocomplete. Understood? Understood? This MAT autocomplete is not our own name. Understood that pointer? So countries list is our own name. Countries list is our own name. MAT autocomplete is not our own name, right? It is a type of autocomplete. Understood? Right. So now the key point here is that is the ID. Now in this autocomplete, we need an option. And usually options are called as MAT options. We need to design a MAT option. So how to design MAT option? MAT option. And this option should repeat for every country. You know how to do it. It should repeat for every country. How we can do that? We can use ng for let. So item of collection is countries. Am I right? That means this option is repeating for every country. Option is repeating for every country. What I will do here is, in this I will put a span. This is the first span. In this span, I will add an image, img src. This image, you can use src attribute also, or you can use src property binding also. You can use anything. Src, it is coming from which location? Item dot flag that contains the path for image. Am I right? It contains the path for image. So we are keeping that here. Next, I will keep another span. In that span, I will keep the country name, that is item dot name. The country name is printed. So after that, I will use another span, and here I will define the calling code. Item dot calling code. Are you clear with this logic? Are you clear with this logic, everyone? Right? So what I have done here, I created a collection and I am generating an item for a option for every item inside that collection. And I am printing 3 details in the option. What are those 3 details? The photo, the name, and the calling code. Am I right? Right. So that means we are defining that. Right. You can't ask the difference between span and div here, Mr. Because whoever this is, because this is not HTML class. Okay. Right. Now see here. Now I need to do one more work here. Whatever the value user selects inside this option, so that value should be assigned to this option. Option will have a value. Value is item dot name. That means which value user has selected, which option user has selected, its value will be stored here, and that will be stored in the references. Understood? That means the value of this option, every option should have a value. The country name will be used as value. Hope you are clear. The country name will be used as value. Am I right? The country name is used as value. Okay, good. Now our autocomplete is ready. We need to attach this autocomplete to whom? We need to attach this autocomplete. This autocomplete should work. On which situation it should work? This autocomplete should work on which situation it should work? In which situation autocomplete should work? Tell me. Autocomplete is ready. On which situation it has to work? When user is typing something inside the text box. Am I right? Am I right? When user is keying in the characters into the text box. That means we need to attach this autocomplete to text box. Am I right? I need to attach this to the text box, input box, right? I need to attach this to the input box. Let's attach to the input box. Okay, good. We will attach to that input box. So let's go to our input box. This is input. In this input, we have to attach. What you need to attach? So I need to attach MAT autocomplete. MAT autocomplete is an attribute. It will take autocomplete data. Mat autocomplete is an attribute which it is a property which takes the autocomplete data. Autocomplete data is coming from which location? It is coming from countries list autocomplete. Am I right? Understood? Understood this point? Understood this point? That means data is coming from countries list, not countries. Countries is an array. Countries list is the ID of whom? Countries list is the ID of whom? Countries list is the ID of whom? Countries list is the ID of mat autocomplete. Understood? Logical name of mat autocomplete, not option. Understood? It is an ID of mat autocomplete. Am I right? Yeah, it is an ID of mat autocomplete. We are configuring that here. Understood the point? Right. So that is the ID. We are attaching this now. That means it is attached. So let's go into the design now. I refresh this here. It is already there. I click inside and you can see both are there. Have you observed? Right. I click inside. I start typing something inside it. I am typing here United Kingdom. So that means United Kingdom. So I can choose that option here. I can define that option there. Understood? Right. That means the autocomplete is defined here. I am configuring the autocomplete and defining that autocomplete here. So that means I'm typing here. You can see it will allow the options, height, width, and all these you can change. For that you need to add some styles actually. If you add some styles and you add some CSS, then it will get that option and display that option, right? If you are doing that, it will get that and display. Means height, width, all these you need to change according to your requirement, right? The font effects you need to define that options, right? So that is how we need to configure, right? That means you have to add CSS. If you add CSS, you can make this presentation more better, right? So that means the options I already told you, right? When I click outside, the options are disappeared now. When I selected, options are appeared, disappeared. Why options are not disappeared? You are still in the control now. Are you observing this? Huh? Right. Yes, it is not yet complete now. I just given you an approach. It is not yet complete now. I just given you one level pointer. Okay. Right. Right. That is what important is. That means I already told you, right? We need to add all the CSS and effects for that in order to implement this. Right. Right. So generally you can write a logic for hiding the placeholders and all. See, so many questions will come. So this is just to make you understand about how to handle them, right? So many questions will come. So I want right side, I want left side, I want upside, I want downside, right? That means you have to define, right? You will see that why you are in a hurry, right? That means I told you that this is a basic point how we can get that. Understood? Huh? You people are very much concerned about all other problems rather than concentrating on what is working. Understood? Because we just done only one point. Have we written any additional effects? Huh? Have we written any additional effects? Huh? Then how you are expecting this is not working, that is not working, right? So you have to write the additional effects. So based on that, it has to get and access and use everything according to that. For that, we need some CSS also to handle. We need some CSS also to handle how we can present, how we can configure, right? So it is not just like you added one attribute and it starts working. I hope many of you know about that. Just adding will not make everything according to your requirement. It needs a lot of options to be configured. Am I right? Huh? We need a lot of options to define. Am I right? Right. So that means we need to add several attributes, effects, right? For example, if I add effects here, that means home, home.css, home.component.css. We need some CSS for making the presentation more effective for this particular elements. So when you are designing, for example, we have example form. We are designing some effects. So for every component, we need some effects. For every component, we need some effects. We have to define those effects, right? So I'm configuring the effects. Like suppose I said min width is 150 pixel. Min width is 150 pixel. Then max width is 500 pixel. So you know general CSS, right? Width is 100%. That is the form example. Suppose I defined example for full width. So full width. These are some CSS. We are adding some CSS here. And width I defined as 100%. We will apply in various options here. Suppose we have example, and in the example option have an image. For the image, we are defining alignments. So vertical align, I am giving vertical align as middle, and I am defining some margin right as some pixels, some 8 pixels, right? I am configuring. So another option. So we have a directory is equal to RTL. And here we are adding, so the example option image, right? The example option image. So the example option image, so margin right, we will configure that as 0, margin right as 0, and margin left as 8 pixels, And we need to apply these classes. You can write in your own way. You need to write the classes. And I need to apply those classes here. Now, how do we configure the classes? See here, what we are doing is, for the form, I am applying a class. For the form, I am applying a class as example form. Example form is the class I have designed. And for the form field, we need to apply a class. We need to apply the class as example. So full width, it should use that full width class. That will set it to 100%. And the mat input is general. Mat autocomplete is general. And mat option is also general. For image, we designed a class. We will keep that class for that image. So for image, we are configuring a class. So the class defined for image is example, and we have an option, and we have img. I'm configuring that. So these are all the effects we are configuring for them. Then you can see its appearance here. That means its placements, its appearance will have to change. And while I am typing here, so that means united, it has to show only that content. When I am typing here India, it has to show only that content. That means now how you can handle these also. That is why we need some concept of event binding techniques also. You know, event binding technique, how to handle. So which events are required to pick up that and add that and use that, right? You know, event binding, na? We have key event binding, right? We can use various event binding techniques. Configure them, right? So we just designed it. So how we can make it functional? So how we can get the data on autocomplete and details? That requires some events to configure and define the events. I hope everyone understood that, right? So you cannot simply get, this is only design, na? Material is having only design, am I right? The functionality we haven't written. Have you written any functionality? We haven't written any functionality for it, na? So that is just design. So the functionality you have to write. You came here to just handle the design, not the functionality. Without writing anything on in the key events, how you will hide them, how you will get them, how we can configure them. So for that we need some options also, right? I hope everyone understood that point, right? We can add some more effects and some more animations for that to make it present more better, right? Yeah. Yes, yes. Okay. This is we are learning material designing, understood, not functionality also, right? Functionality, you have to write a lot of logic for that. I'm just giving an overview how we can manage the designs, understood, right? So this is one simple example. I will give you the entire code in a notes. I will give you this entire code in a notes, step by step, how to write and how to handle it. You can try it. You can try it, right? You can manage and try it. I will give you a step by step note for it. Okay, you can try it. This notes I will post you so in a repository so that you can practice that also. Right. Yes, I will share the PowerPoint also. We will discuss about that. Right. Similarly, you can handle other designs also. Similarly, you can handle other designs. For example, I want a calendar. I want a calendar. I want a calendar. One more I will show you. One more I will show you. And I will show you from where you can get all the repositories so that you can practice and design and work with them. Okay. So another option I will show you how we can manage that. Right, I will tell you where I'm going to share all this, right? Yeah. So the point is how you can manage this complete approach. Suppose one more example I will show you. Suppose I want here another heading. I will keep as a date picker. I will show you another date picker so that you will get a clarity little bit about this now. Actually, for date picker, so if I want to design a date picker, I want to design a date picker. First, we need to understand that we need some modules for date picker. What is the module required for date picker is actually mat date picker module. Another module you need is mat native date module. These two modules are required. So this is available in material core. It is available in material core, and the above one is available in a separate location. Now tell me the approach how to do. First step, what we have to do? First step, we have to go to app module. In the app module, we have to import those two modules. Am I right? Right. What are the modules to be imported? We need to import the two modules. What are the modules need to be imported? So import. Okay. What is the module need to be imported from? So import from. First module I need to import is I need a date picker. That means at the net Angular. In the Angular, we have material. In the material, we have a date picker. Am I right? In the date picker, we are having mat date picker module. We have to add this mat date picker module. We need to import this. Okay. We need one more option. What is it? Import another from. We need another from. What is the location here? At the net Angular material. So Angular material. In the Angular material, we have core. In the core, we need to import another one, that is mat native date module. This is also needed. And you need to configure these two. So we need to import these two here. So mat, so we have native date module. That is one module. Another module you need here, mat date picker module. So I am importing the mat date picker module also. Date picker module, that is also added here. Okay, fine. Now, how we can add a date picker in our application? So that means we need to go to the HTML. In the HTML, we need to configure that. So we registered it. And now I need to import this now. We are creating a mat form field again. Form field is like a form group. It is having a class. I will just put a class here. Class as example class. In that we have full width, right? We are defining full width. And here I am adding a text box. Input type is equal to text. Okay. And how we can give as a mat input? We have mat input. Okay, that is the basic input control we are having. That means in the design, you can see for date picker also a input is ready. Fine. Next step, I want a date picker below this. That means here we have to add a mat date picker. We need to add a mat date picker. And very important, this mat date picker will have an ID picker. Okay, I'm just giving an ID picker. And how you can access this? So that means input should access mat date picker. Mat date picker is equal to, it should access this date picker. And usually date picker requires a calendar like icon. Am I right? Calendar like icon. On icon click, it should open and close the calendar. Then we use mat date picker toggle. Date picker toggle. This is used to add a date picker button. You want as suffix or prefix. That means it should work for, this should work for. That means we have to write for. It should work for our picker. Am I right? It should work for picker. And it should be towards the end. Then we use mat suffix. Mat suffix will keep it towards the end. That means you can see here. So a date picker toggle, a date picker icon will come right side. I click on that, a calendar will open. I select the date, it should store. Understood? Observe that, right? I click on this icon, it will get a date. I can choose a date, I can choose a year. So I can choose a year, I can choose a month, right? I can choose the dates and it will get the date and display. Am I right? Right. So that is how we have to define the components, configure the components and use the components. I have given an example for two important components. How do we work and design and use these components here, right? Once you know how to design these components, I will show you where we can go and handle these components. That means how to get information about all the components. You have to go to the site, material, and in the material angular.io. This is the official site of this Angular material. Am I right? Right. Yes, I am showing you. Right. I am showing you where you can get whatever you want. Understood? Right. Now go here in this Angular material. You can see at the top. This is the official repository. Right. So nobody can teach you all materials anyway, because this is not material class. This is only workshop on that to make you understand how you can explore things about materials and get your own design. Now open here, go to components. You can see a lot of component categories are present. So in this components category, suppose I am looking for date picker, click on date picker. This is the date picker. And you can see this is the date picker, and you see this is the sample design of date picker. You go to examples category. In the examples category, you will find all types of date options, including you want a date picker, you want a date time picker. Everything is available here. Understood? All these effects are available here. So what you want, you can choose from here. Understood? Now what you have to know is you need to understand what modules are required, what attributes are required. First, in order to know what modules are required, go to API. In the API tab, you will find what modules are required. So you need a date picker module. You have to import that module. And you will see that what selector names it is having, what methods it is having. See the selector, and it is exported as this reference name. Understood? The selector names and everything will be defined. If you want to implement, go to examples, then go to the source view code here. There is in the example you see view code. In HTML, how to design. And in TS, if any logic need to be configured. In CSS, any effects need to be defined. It will show everything. So And remember, this is not so simple. Don't take it easy, right? It is not so simple because a lot of errors will come if you miss the dependencies. I hope you understood, right? It is not easy that you go here, copy and paste and do everything simply, right? Because you need to understand its dependencies. If you miss one dependency module of any control, it is not going to work in the same way how you are expecting it. Understood? Huh? Hope everyone is clear with that. Everyone is clear with that, right? Yes, yes, obviously you will get, because so see, it's not simply like you copy paste and you can handle this, right? So because you have to understand all the dependencies. That's the reason if anybody guides you, and no need to teach you, understood? He need to just guide you in handling this, so that you can explore by yourself without the issues. Once you practice 2 3 components, you will get a clarity where you are missing. Why I showed you all this approach, not coming to the site directly, because you need to know where your components are missing. Is import missing? Is injecting missing? Or the material dependencies are missing? You need to understand them. That's the reason I showed you the complete approach step by step. I hope everyone is clear, right? Everyone is clear with this, right? Now based on that, you can see left side, you can see left side. Yes, you can see left side. So many components are available, so many components are available, and you just click on the component. Remember, every component, we just implemented autocomplete. In the autocomplete you have a lot of examples for autocomplete. You click and it will show you that, and you can see the source code. In the source code, it is giving you some code. It is giving you some code. And in the TS file, it is having some logic also. Have you observed? We haven't implemented that logic. Have you seen that? Right? Right? You understood this? We haven't implemented that logic. That is the logic you need to implement in order to filter and get the value that you are looking for while typing. Understood now? So we are learning just design. The rest of your Angular knowledge, rest of your TypeScript knowledge, implementing its functionality according to your requirement. So you need to know how to design, then you can handle everything. Right side, left side, you see controls, and you see the design and you can implement it. I hope everyone can try this by themselves now. Are you clear with this? I hope everyone can try this by now, right? So this is the basic approach how we can use the materials in our project. Now, one more important point is there. We can use animations by ourselves. You can write your own CSS and put your own effects. You can write your own CSS. You can write your own CSS and you can put your own effects. Understood? Right? For if you know CSS, and if you know all the concept about CSS, then I will conduct another workshop on coming Sunday on animations separately. Understood? This is only materials. So in our Facebook page, and you registered in our webinar, so no problem. So in that webinar, I will make you an email sent to your email where we will learn about animations in a separate session. For that animations, you need CSS transitions, transformations. You know CSS transitions, transformations, right? Transitions, transformations, you know them, right? If you know transitions, transformations, how to use in CSS, now I will conduct another session on animations, how to create such animations by ourselves. That means mouse over, it will zoom, mouse out, it will come out. Understood? Understood? That means how to handle animations, create animations by ourselves. So instead of depending on the predefined custom, how we can do that, that I will conduct in the next session. Right? Same for the next session also, you need to have knowledge of Angular, then it is ready. Next session again on next Sunday we will conduct. Okay, next Sunday we will conduct, and that link of webinar will be provided to you. And the notes, what I will do is, I will upload the notes on the GitHub repository. I am posting that GitHub repository link to you. I will upload the presentation and notes into the GitHub repository. I will create a repository, Angular workshop, right? This is Angular workshop. I am creating a repository. I will post you this into that link, right? Okay. I will upload all the presentations here. I will upload all the presentations, the workshop related presentation, documents, notes, and the presentation, PPT also. Today, whatever I explained step by step, along with that, some more examples are there. Okay. Along with that, some more examples are there. I uploaded those here. So you can practice the other examples also. You can practice other examples also, right? And this is our GitHub repository. Yes, code and everything. This is our GitHub repository. Here I uploaded everything. You can get it from there. You can get it from there. Okay. And from tomorrow onwards, we are starting an UI technology new batch. UI technologies new batch. So anyone can attend that UI technology batch. And that UI technology at 4 p.m. So on UI technologies, a new batch is started. So I'm starting a new one, new UI batch. I am starting from 4 will be there. You can attend it. Okay. And the Zoom ID for the UI class is this. I am sending the Zoom ID. This is the Zoom ID. Yeah, in UI class, we will conduct, in UI, we will have HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript ES6, and JavaScript ES6 version. So TypeScript, jQuery, Ajax, Bootstrap 4, and AngularJS. These are the topics that we cover. Okay. Hope this workshop is helpful to everyone, and you are clear in understanding the concepts, and you try everything by yourself. In the next Sunday session, if you have any issues, you can let me know about them so that I can clarify.